You know that feeling, right? That moment of pure sticker shock you get when you're in an airport terminal. It almost always starts with something super, super simple.
So picture this. You've made it through security, you're waiting for your flight, and all you want is a simple bottle of water.
You walk up to the counter, you grab it, and bam! That little bottle of water costs an absolute fortune. And here's the crazy part. It's the exact same product you'd buy anywhere else. Same brand, same bottle, same water.
So what gives? Why does everything cost more at the airport? And I mean everything. The coffee, that sandwich, the souvenir. Well, today we're going to break it down and explain how airport pricing really works.
All right, so it all starts the second you clear security. See, that airport terminal isn't just a building. Oh no, it is a very, very carefully controlled commercial environment. And this brings us to a key economic idea, the captive audience. Think about it. Once you're in that departure lounge, you're stuck, right? You can't just, pop outside to the corner store for a better deal. Your choices are literally limited to what's right there in front of you. The airport has a captive audience, and guess what? That audience is you. But it's not just a physical trap. It's a psychological one, too. This quote from some Heathrow passengers really hits the nail on the head. We aren't just stuck in a building. Our minds are totally preoccupied with the stress of just trying to get on our flight. And all that stress? It completely hijacks how we make decisions. That little voice in your head worrying about missing your flight, the anxiety of finding the right gate, it all means your brain just flips a switch. Suddenly, convenience becomes way more important than cost. So grabbing that expensive water, it's just easier. It's less stressful than trying to hunt for a better deal that might not even exist.
Okay, so our brains are working against us. But that's only half the story. Let's talk about the retailer's reality, because the stores themselves are under some serious financial pressure.
To put it simply, for a shop to even open its doors inside an airport, it has to pay a mind-boggling amount of money for that spot. And where do you think that cost goes? Yep, it gets passed directly onto you in the price of, well, everything.
But wait, it gets even crazier. A lot of modern airport contracts go beyond just high rent. They use something called a revenue-sharing model. What does that mean? It means for every single thing you buy, every coffee, every magazine, the airport itself takes a direct cut of that sale. This gives the airport a huge incentive to want prices to be as high as possible.
You know, in a regular shopping mall, stores are constantly competing on price to get your business. But airports, they're designed to completely stop that from happening. They'll deliberately limit how many coffee shops or newsstands are allowed in. They sign these exclusivity deals. And the result of all that? No price wars. Just consistently high prices everywhere you look.
Okay, let's recap. We've got a captive customer. That's us. And we've got retailers with sky-high costs. But there's a third, and maybe the most powerful piece of this puzzle, our own brains. Let's dive into the psychology of spending when we travel.
Just take a look at why people are even at the airport in the first place. More than a third are heading out on holiday. And you know how it is. You're in vacation mode. You're ready to splurge a little. Then another third are on business trips where, let's be honest, the company's probably paying. And the rest, visiting friends and family, which is often a special occasion. Every single one of these mindsets makes us way less sensitive to high prices.
And this leads to what I call the I'm already spending a ton of money effect. Think about it. You've already shelled out hundreds, maybe thousands, for the flight and the hotel. So in the grand scheme of things, what's another $7 for a coffee? It feels like nothing. Your normal budget rules just fly out the window. Ah, but what about duty-free? That's supposed to be the one place you can get a real deal, right? Well, not so fast. The promise is huge, tax-free savings. But the reality is that most big brands work really hard to keep their prices pretty much the same all over the world. So yeah, it might feel like you're getting a massive bargain, but the actual savings are often way, way smaller than you think.
So where is all this extra money actually going? This brings us to the final and maybe most surprising piece of a whole puzzle, the airport's master plan. And believe it or not, your overpriced sandwich plays a key role in it. Get ready for this number. It is pretty staggering. On average, almost 39% of an airport's total revenue comes from us. Not from the airlines, but from retail, food, parking, all of it. It is a massive, massive part of their business model.
So basically, airports make money in two main ways. There's aeronautical revenue, that's fees they charge airlines for landing and using gates, and then there's non-aeronautical revenue, and that's the money they get from passengers, from you. But the real magic is how these two things are connected.
And here it is. This is the big reveal.
That ridiculously expensive coffee you bought? It goes straight to the airport to help them pay for their massive operating costs. Runways, terminals, the whole shebang. And because the airport is making so much money from you and me in the shops, they can actually afford to charge the airlines less money for things like landing fees. So, in a weird way, your coffee is helping to subsidize the cost of the flights themselves. Wild, right?
So when you put it all together, one thing becomes crystal clear. Airport prices are not random. They are not mistakes. They are not greedy accidents.
They are the result of control, timing, and psychology.
And once you notice it, once you really understand how it all works, I promise you will never look at an airport receipt the same way again.